it keeps on happening. Yeah, I think live streaming is haram for me at this point because the clumsiness, you know, it it doesn't happen with my own will, the constant mistakes, but it does happen. So that's an issue. But I would blame Yuki for that because his tail is moving, and I got overstimulated by my sister talking in the other room, thinking that she's like talking to me, but she's not. الأول والآخر. So this means the first. I got that right at least. Man, I'm so sad. Nobody saw that, right? I know. I hope not, bro. Because most people are like focused on the stream and like typing. So that's so freaking embarrassing. Astaghfirullah al-azim. May Allah forgive me. It's not. Listen, listen, guys. If something happens outside of your will, then you're not held accountable for it. That's literally not your fault. Hi, I'm on my way to school. Yo, Adina, welcome back to the stream, and I hope you have a great day at school. But yeah, where, what time is, where are you from? Like, it's so early for you compared to me. It's like 10:50 p.m. right now. Sometimes don't, and sometimes don't give us that jump scare. Okay, yeah, sorry. I don't even. It's a jump scare for me first and foremost. Okay, so told you Yuki will mess it up. I know he's always there. Like I'm not trying to be mean to him, but just like no matter how much you push him, he'll just come straight to the camera until like the whole camera flips and I'm so mad. But yeah, we'll come back guys. I'm so sorry about that. So المقسط literally this guy. Like I don't mind if he's here, but he doesn't like being there. I went to the restroom, didn't see anything if you got exposed. Okay, thank you, Tofu. Thank you for letting me know. المقسط. Um, this means the equitable, the just. I thought العدل was the just. That's probably something like similar to just, but I don't know. Equitable. So this differs from al-adl because it means the active implementation of justice. Ask him to help let you be as just as possible as well. Okay, so al-adl means the justice itself, but al-muqsit is the action carrying out justice. So in Arabic, there's a lot of words that mean similar things that English can't translate, but there's differences. They're like nuanced. Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Abdul Khaliq. I'm so sorry about that. It happens so many times. Like I'm so worried. Like I don't know what to do. Like it's always my clumsiness. It could happen, but it's like it's fine. Yuki was a sleeper agent all along. Yeah, I know he's the biggest op. Handwriting quite good with the shaky old hand. Oh my goodness. Anyways, at least I did something um useful. uh, I mean, not to say you don't do anything useful, but and المقسط, the one who carries out justice, the equitable. So ذو الجلال والإكرام. This is one of his favorite attributes to be called upon by, so that your dua gets more accepted. So ذو الجلال والإكرام. So it's no wonder that it's such a long name. So what is it? The Lord of Majesty and Generosity. His tail keeps moving, and it's like moving all the cards off the table, and like there you go, there you go. There we go. Perfect distance. So the Lord of Majesty and Generosity. It's emphasized to use this attribute more because it's the supreme name. Isma al-A'zam. Ask him for his pleasure and his paradise with this attribute. Look at this Smeagol guy. I thought, okay, that's really fitting for the Hobbit book that we're gonna read. So Again, active recall. Let's do it again from the top. Ar-Ra'uf, the most kind. Most kind. Dhul Jalali wal Ikram, the one we just did, is the most generous. No, no, no. That's Al Karim. This is the majestic, the most gracious, right? The Lord of Majesty and Generosity. Oh, it was generosity. Dang. So that's not like Al Karim. Dhul Jalali wal Ikram. Oh, Ikram, like Karim, right? So Kaf Ra Mim. That makes sense. Dhul Jalal. So there's Al Jalil, and that means the most majestic. So Dhul Jalali wal Ikram is the most majestic, the Lord of Majesty and generosity. So it's like two in one. You keep stare. I can't. Is he dead or what? I don't know. He's literally Smeagol. Why I cannot see no longer my age, guys. All our 40-year-old jacked uncles. Really? I don't think unconfident is old. Oh, in the gym. I mean, okay, okay, okay. So William is the first, and Muqaddim. This is hard. What do you think? So there was Yasser Qadi when he's capable, and Muqaddim means the dominant, or no, that's Al Muqtadir. So this is not the dominant. This is the exemplifier. Start with the E. This is the expediter. What does expedite mean again? I forgot. Yeah, I got the expediter right. Yeah, okay, the promoter. Right? The promoter. He's really sad that I pushed him off the table. But this is a good distance, bro. Like gyms for noobs, legends work out at home. I don't do either. Oh my god. Um, yeah, you can just walk. That's fine. That's good exercise too. Walking is like the best thing you could do. So, muqtadir, the one who carries out. No, I literally just said it. The capable is Yasser Qadi, and then this is the dominant, the one who takes on the action of his capabilities. Yeah, Qadi, Yasser Qadi is capable. المقسط. See, this is what active recall is. We don't know what al-muqsit means anymore. Omnipotent. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Muqsit. Muqsit. I'll come back to this one. Qayyum. Hayyul Qayyum. This is the one, the ever living, and this is this all sustainer. Okay, so this one helped me remember that one. The ever living, the one sustains all. This is the ever living. Al-muqsitu, I forgot again. Al-wajid. Wajid. Ah, these are hard. Wajid and Majid. Majid is majestic, like, right? I don't know. مؤخر. مؤخر, I remember like اخرج means last exit. Um, the delayer. The delayer. Yes. مقسط. These three I'm struggling with. Wajid, Majid, and مقسط. Can you understand Arabic, Abdul Khaliq? Sayyida. It said your stream ended. Oh yeah, sorry about that. I had to end it quickly because another technical difficulty had occurred. What's the meaning of Albani? Albani. I don't know. And that's one of the scholars many people quote a lot. Albani. I think it's like, I don't know. It's probably like a region, I'd assume, because you know Al Bukhari is a region. Al Afghani. Um, I don't know. Muqsit is the just. Yeah, the just. Muqsit. 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 the just. I don't know how to remember that. Like moonwalk, just beat it. Oh my god, astaghfirullah. But it's like just I don't know what the term is like to just to remember. It's not like disrespect. Majid and wajid. What are these? Astaghfirullah. Majid is noble or glorious. Noble, yeah. Majid. Majid. The noble. Cause Majid sounds like majestic, but it's like it's not majestic. It's noble, which is kind of like majestic, but it's like noble. Like when you play chess, what is the noble one? Right, the knight, the bishop. I don't know. The bishop seems noble. It's that one is closest to the king, and the king is Al Malik, and Malik is sounds like Majid. It's noble. Beautiful cat. Thank you, Freedom Forever. Welcome to the stream. How's it going? We're just learning some Arabic words. Quran Majid, the noble Quran. Oh, Quran Majid, yeah. Thank you. That's a good way to remember. So what about Al-Wajid? السيدة الجويرية عجوز. Old lady Juwaria. Oh my goodness. Like, you really gotta do me like that. There's nothing wrong with being old, right? I think, being old is better than being young these days. Because young people are very lost. Not me though. I'm good in the hood. Al-Wajid. Some can't even translate to English. My problem is that I know quite of the names, but all my native language. Hmm. Well, you don't have to learn it in English. Like the reward is understanding it in any language that you know. Just to memorize it and understand the meanings, that's good enough. It doesn't have to be English. Wajid is the finder. Oh, finder. You're right. You already said that. It's the finder. How do you remember Al Wajid being the finder? Like, where does it sound like? It does it say like? Does it the W here sound like where? So Wajid like where's it? And then if you find it again from the top. Rauf, the kindest, the Jalali wal Ikram, the majestic, the Lord of majesty and generosity. الأول, the first, المقتدر, the one who مقتدر, the one who executes his capabilities, the dominant, or is that مقدر? No. That's مقدر. This is مقتدر. Okay, what is مقتدر? This is man. I keep getting this one is so hard. Not Jory, I'm really old. Like she has selfies with pyramids. I've never gone to Egypt, bro. The dominant. Oh, what? I got it right the first time. What is مقدم ده? Majid, moonwalk, just the most just. No, that's the noble. Oh my gosh, imagine it's like muqsit. That's the most just. مؤخر. There's nothing wrong in being old. You just lose some immunity and gain some wisdom. Yeah, I'd rather lose my immunity and gain wisdom. Not really. I don't like being sick. مؤخر is the layer. مقدم, the expediter, the promoter. And القيوم, حي القيوم, the ever living, the sustainable. So what I'm struggling with from this pile is المقدم, not مؤخر, المقسط, الماجد المقتدر. Basically all of them. Not القادر. القادر means the capable. القيوم is the all sustainer, the giver of life. واجد. الرؤوف is easier. الجلال والإكرام is easy. الأول is easy. So this pile is easy, and المؤخر, this pile we're struggling with. Basically, Mika was walking home today, but no one could find her, and they just laugh it off, thinking she was playing hide and seek it something, but then they literally couldn't find her anywhere. Ooh, is she okay? Did you guys find her eventually? It's so hot in here. Turn the AC on. I don't mean it in a bad way. What did you say? Type your first five emojis. Oh, okay. Queen, you should do story time with showing face at this point. You have so many things to say. Without showing face. Okay, I was kind of worried there. I was like, showing face? She's like, okay. Okay, okay. The delayer. This is one of the easier ones. And wajid. Wajid and majid. Where? Find. Finder. Yes. مقتدر. The dominant. Majid. Hey Scott, welcome back to the stream. How's it going? مقسط. Just. Most just. There's a lot of mu here. There's مقتدر, مقدم, مقسط. But these two sound the same, so it's not either of those. This is the just. Yeah. But that's not a good way to remember it. مقسط. مقدم is the one, the the promoter. مقدم promoter. مقدم promoter. مقدم promoter. الماجد. So الواجد is, I forgot already. واجد. Let me think. واجد. The finder. الماجد is the noble. ماجد. حميد مجيد. ده قرآن مجيد. قرآن ماجد. Well, there's an alif here. We don't say قرآن مجيد or قرآن ماجد. Wajid is finder, Majid is noble. Okay. Noble gases. Periodic table. Majid. Majid. Masjid. Institute. Muslims were the finders of chemistry before all chemists in the current world. They don't even credit the Muslims. They just think Muslims are backwards when Muslims were the pioneers of chemistry and math in the golden age until they sacked Baghdad and burnt all the books. Thus, Majid is the noble gas, the noble. Watch me forget that in 2 seconds. I'm high and getting higher. Then they went to her house and rang the doorbell, but no one answered. It was just silent, too silent. So now they think something happened with her. Still? You didn't find her yet? But I think this is a good amount of flashcards that we did today. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You know what? Let's do three more. Three more. البر, الوالي, and المنتقم. So we got this wrong. It seems easy because wali means the trustee, but الوالي is different. Al-Wali means the governor, the patron. So you know how there's sub to my patron account. Patron is the one who, you know, takes care the affairs of the believer. When you subscribe to somebody's patron account, you're taking care of them. You're making sure the cats are getting fed. This is Al-Wali, the governor, the patron. Al-Barr. This is what somebody was asking in the live stream. Or was it this one or the last one? I don't remember. Do I read my upper chats about Mika? Oh, sorry. Then they went to her house. Oh, I already read that. And Mika's curfew is 3:30, but it's 4 now, and they still can't find her. Also, her two brothers didn't know where she was either, so they started getting really worried. By the way, they is Joanna and Charlotte. Wow. Charlotte is her brother? Oh, your friends. But hide and seek, where could she be hiding? Is it bad to comment this? It is trolling, but okay. The source of all goodness is El Barro. Aww, El Barro. This is a really cute name. I mean, astaghfirullah. I hope that's not very disrespectful to call it cute, but I like this. The source of all goodness. Every good thing that exists, love, kindness, beauty, every moment of comfort, it comes from El Barro. He is extraordinarily kind to us, even the good weather, the unexpected opportunities, the good grades, all him. He provides material and spiritual comfort. El Barro. I'll remember that. I hope. El Muntaqim. The Avenger. He will hold every wrongdoer that does not regret or repent accountable. Such a beautiful name to the wronged, yet such a scary one to the wrongdoers. When you're wronged, Palestine, etc., use this in your eyes. The source of all goodness. The when you're wronged, the Avenger, Al Wali, the governor, the patron. So we're gonna go over all these flashcards after we're done reading. And we're gonna start reading The Hobbit now. Assalamu alaikum. Yo, Noob is cool guy. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome. And Kai, welcome back. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bestie, how is it going? Hope you've been good, inshallah. Is it 11 a.m. for you? Bro, just wanted to get the K-pop fans crowd by adding Lisa and BTS in the match performance schedule, you know? Match performance schedule. That song look more like Lisa solo. Oh, is this for the World Cup? When is the World Cup, by the way? It's 11:12 a.m. Wow, early bird. Some Christians said Allah has name great deceive. I don't know what that means. Yuki sleepy. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna start reading The Hobbit now, and after we're done with The Hobbit reading, however much we do end up reading, we're gonna go over the flashcard, inshallah. That's the plan for today. Any questions, concerns? Because I'll be reading in a way that I may not be able to focus on the live stream, but let's see. So this is the Lonely Mountain over here, east where in East Lie, they were in, I don't know what that says. Here was Giroin, Lodendale, the running river. Here's the gateway of the Long Lake. Wait, you guys can't see it. Yeah. So far to the north are the Grey Mountains, the and of the withered death whence came the great worms. Thor's Throwers map. This is making me really nostalgic. I used to play the Hobbit Lego game so much. They plan and Allah plans. Really, Allah's the best of all planners. They said, Makr not khair al makirin. The holiday starts in the middle of July. Yeah, I remember. And welcome to the stream, Newton. How's it going? Okay, I'm Kaya, by the way. Yeah, this is gonna be good. Inshallah. So this is The Hobbit. The Hobbit over there and back again. All right, chapter one, an unexpected party. Oh my gosh, this is so nostalgic because I remember this in the movie and it was just the best part. All right, so in a hole, it's so cozy, man. Okay, so in a hole in the ground, there lived a hobbit. Not a nasty, dirty, wet hole filled with the ends of worms and an oozy smell, nor yet a dry, bare, sandy hole with nothing in it to sit down on or to eat. It was a hobbit hole, and that means comfort. It had a perfectly round door like a porthole, painted green, with a shiny yellow brass knob in the exact middle. The door opened onto a tube-shaped hall like a tunnel, a very comfortable tunnel without smoke, with paneled walls and floors tiled and carpeted, provided with polished chairs and lots of pegs for hats and coats. The hobbit was fond of visitors. The tunnel wound on and on, going fairly but not quite straight into the side of the hill as all the people for many miles round called it, and many little round doors opened out of it. First on one side and then on another. Not going upstairs for the hobbit. No going upstairs for the hobbit. Bedrooms, bathrooms, cellars, pantries, lots of these uh wardrobes. He had whole rooms devoted to clothes, kitchens, dining rooms. All were on the same floor, and indeed on the same passage. The best rooms were all on the left hand side going in, for these were the only ones to have windows, deep set round windows looking over his garden, and meadows beyond sloping down to the river. This hobbit was a very well-to-do hobbit, and his name was Baggins. The Bagginses had lived in the neighborhood of the hill for time out of mind, and people considered them very respectable. Not only because most of them were rich, but also because they never had any adventures or did anything unexpected. You could tell what a Baggins would say on any question without the bother of asking him. This is a story of how a Baggins had an adventure and found himself doing and saying things altogether unexpected. He may have lost the neighbor's respect, but he gained, well, you'll see whether he gained anything in the end. Alright, Alhamdulillah, are you from Lahore or Karachi? I'm from Lahore. At least I remember the spelling. Yellow light. My dad got a favorite bread rolls, so I'm happy. Yay, queen! I'm glad that you got your favorite food. Okay, I just have 100 plus accounts. I've seen both movie series, so got confused. Yeah, it is confusing, but let's see if it makes any sense after reading it. Never read Lord of the Rings, but seen all the movies, so this will be nice. Yeah. All right, let's continue. Someone please serve the queen. All right, so the mother of our particular hobbit. What is a hobbit? I suppose hobbits need some description nowadays, since they have become rare and shy of the big people, as they call us. They are, or were, a little people about half our height and smaller than the bearded dwarfs. Hobbits have no beards. There is little or no magic about them, except the ordinary everyday sort which helps them to disappear quietly and quickly when large stupid folk like you and me come blundering along, making a noise like elephants which they can hear a mile off. They are inclined to be fat in the stomach. They dress in bright colors, chiefly green and yellow, wear no shoes because their feet grow natural leathery soles and thick warm brown hair like the stuff on their heads, which is curly, have long, clever brown fingers, good natured faces and laugh deep, fruity laughs, especially after dinner, which they have twice a day when they can get it. No wonder they're fat. Now you know enough to go on with. As I was saying, the mother of this hobbit of Bilbo Baggins, that is, was the famous Belladonna Took, one of the three remarkable daughters of the old Took, head of the hobbits who lived across the water, the small river that ran at the foot of the hill. It was often said in other families that long ago one of the Took ancestors must have taken a fairy wife. That was, of course, absurd, but certainly there was still something not entirely hobbit-like about them. And once in a while, members of the Took clan would go and have adventures. They discreetly disappeared, and the family hushed it up. But the fact remained that the Tooks were not as respectable as the Bagginses, though they were undoubtedly richer. Not that Belladonna Took ever had any adventures after she became Mrs. Bungo Baggins, Bungo, that was Bilbo's father, built the most luxurious hobbit hole for her, and partly with her money, that was to be found either under the hill or over the hill or across the water, and there they remained to the end of their days. Still, it is probable that Bilbo, her own son, although he looked and behaved exactly like a second edition of his solid and comfortable father, got something a bit queer in his makeup from the Took side. Something that only waited for a chance to come out. The chance never arrived until Bilbo Baggins was grown up, being about 50 years old or so, and living in the beautiful hobbit hole built by his father, which I have just described for you, until he had in fact apparently settled down immovably. By some curious chance, one morning long ago in the quiet of the world, when there was less noise and more green, and the hobbits were still numerous and prosperous, and Bilbo Baggins was standing at his door after breakfast, smoking an enormous long wooden pipe that reached nearly down to his woolly toes, neatly brushed, Gandalf came by. Gandalf! If he had heard only a quarter of what I have heard about him, and I have only heard very little of all there is to hear, you'd be prepared for any sort of remarkable tale. Tales and adventures sprouted up all over the place, wherever he went, in the most extraordinary fashion. He had not been down that way until the hill for ages and ages, not since his friend, the old Took, died. In fact, and the hobbits had almost forgotten what he looked like. He had been away over the hill and across the water on businesses of his own since they were all small hobbit boys and hobbit girls. I don't remember any hobbit girls. That's crazy. Can you read the Bible next time? Hello, I'm not drunken. I don't read the Bible. That's not my religion. But you can if you want to. You could always open your own live stream and do that, right? I'm not drunken. It's good that you're not drunken. That's good. Finally, the exams are here. I get redness on my skin. I get allergies for some reason during summer. That's so I have to do a lot of skincare. That's good. That's good. Take care of your amana. That's all right. So, um, to be honest, I don't know if it's a Ghafur or a Ghafur. I write what I feel like in this vibe during the tests. I wonder they're fat. Okay. Joel, what's Mukhadi? Mukhadi? Muqaddir? Dang! No, not the active recall. Muqaddir is it's like the dominant, right? I saw you were talking about exercise. You could do Pilates. It's not so hard. Kind of mostly yoga. Yeah. All right, let's continue. So all that the unsuspecting Bilbo saw that morning was an old man with a staff. He had a tall, pointed blue hat, a long gray coat, a silver scarf over which his long white beard hung down below his waist, and immense black boots. "Good morning," said Bilbo, and he meant it. The sun was shining and the grass was very green, but Gandalf looked at him from under long bushy eyebrows that stuck out further than the brim of his shady hat. "What do you mean?" he said. "Do you wish me good morning, or mean that it is a good morning whether I want it or not? Or that you feel good that I remember this part of the movie. Or that you feel good this morning, or that it is a morning to be good on. All of them at once, said Bilbo, and a very fine morning for a pipe of tobacco out of doors into the bargain. If you have a pipe about you, sit down and have a fill of mine. There's no hurry. We have all the day before us. Then Bilbo sat down on a seat by his door, crossed his legs, and blew out a beautiful grey ring of smoke that sailed up into the air without breaking and floated away over the hill. So that was Bilbo doing it. Okay. Very pretty, said Gandalf, but I have no time to blow smoke rings this morning. I'm looking for someone to share in an adventure that I'm arranging, and it's very difficult to find anyone. I should think so in these parts. We are plain, quiet folk and have no use for adventures. Nasty, disturbing, uncomfortable things. Make you late for dinner. Oh my goodness. I can't think of what anybody sees in them, said our Mr. Baggins, and stuck one thumb behind his braces and blew out another even bigger smoke ring. Then he took out his morning letters and began to read, pretending to take no more notice of the old man. He had decided that he was not quite his sort, and wanted him to go away. But the old man did not move. He stood leaning on his stick and gazing at the hobbit without saying anything, till Bilbo got quite uncomfortable and even a little cross. "Good morning," he said at last. "We don't want any adventures here, thank you. You might try over the hill across the water." By this he meant that the conversation was at an end. "What a lot of things you do use good morning for," said Gandalf. "I mean that you want to get rid of me, and that it won't be good till I move off." "Not at all, not at all, my dear. Not at all, my dear sir. Let me see. I don't think I know your name." "Yes, yes, my dear sir, and I do know your name, Mr. Bilbo Baggins, and you do know my name, though you don't remember that I belong to it. I am Gandalf, and Gandalf means me. To think that I should have lived to be good morninged by Belladonna Took's son, as if I was selling buttons at the door. Gandalf, Gandalf, good gracious me! Not the wandering wizard that gave old Took a pair of magic diamond studs that fastened themselves, and never came undone till ordered? Not the fellow who used to tell such wonderful tales at parties about dragons and goblins and giants and the rescue of princesses and the unexpected luck of widows' sons? Not the man that used to make such particularly excellent fireworks. I remember those. Old Took used to have them on Midsummer's Eve. Splendid. They used to go up like great lilies and snapdragons and laburnums of fire and hang in the twilight all evening. You'll notice already that Mr. Baggins was not quite so prosy as he liked to believe. Also, that he was very fond of flowers. Dear me, he went on, not the Gandalf who was responsible for so many quiet lads and lasses going off into the blue for mad adventures? Anything from climbing trees to visiting elves, or sailing in ships, sailing to other shores. Bless me, life used to be quite you used to upset things badly in these parts once upon a time. I beg your pardon, but I had no idea you were still in business. Where else should I be? Said the wizard. All the same, I'm pleased to find you remember something about me. You seem to remember my fireworks kindly, at any rate, and that is not without hope. Indeed, for your old grandfather Took's sake, and for the sake of poor Belladonna, I'll give you what you asked for. I beg your pardon? I haven't asked for anything. Yes, you have, twice now. My pardon, I give it to you. In fact, I'll go so far as to send you on this adventure. Very amusing for me, very good for you, and profitable too. Very likely, if you ever get over it. Sorry, I don't want any adventures, thank you. Not today, good morning. But please come to tea anytime you like. Why not tomorrow? Come tomorrow. Goodbye. Look, he said inter, like he likes adventures, but he doesn't like to give up his comfort. That's Bilbo Baggins. I might allow it as long as you are doing it to stretch, but I might tell you to avoid that which requires to do something that is imitating Hindus. Are you talking about meditation? Oh, yoga. I see. I see. If it's like just for exercise, that's fine. But yeah, no imitating the Hindus. Who likes sweating, bro? I hate to, but it is what it is. But sweating is good for health, I guess. It clears your skin. Really? Yo, two gray lines. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, there's a cat here. What's this book chat? Yo, Dil, this is The Hobbit. This is nice. Storytime with Jojo. Yeah, it's good. I have to, like, just stop a little bit here and there just to see if anybody has something to say. She last saw chat before 9 minutes. No, I mean, I'm seeing it right now, right? If you want me to see anything, blame your hair then. The problem is your hair not sweating. Hi, I'm at school now. Yo, nice, Adina. But focus in class, alright? Okay, let's continue. So, goodbye. With that, the hobbit turned and scuttled inside his round green door and shut it as quickly as he dared not to seem rude. Wizards, after all, are wizards. What on earth did I ask him to tea for? He said to himself. As he went to the pantry, he had only just had breakfast, but he thought a cake or two and a drink of something would do him good after his fright. Gandalf, in the meantime, was still standing outside the door and laughing long but quietly. After a while, he stepped up, and with the spike on his staff, scratched the queer sign on the hobbit's beautiful green front door. Then he strode away. Just about the time when Bilbo was finished his second cake and beginning to think that he had escaped adventures very well. The next day, he had almost forgotten about Gandalf. He did not remember things very well, unless he put them down on his engagement tablet, like this: Gandalf Tea Wednesday. Yesterday, he had been too flustered to do anything of the kind. Just before tea time, there came a tremendous ring on the front doorbell, and then he remembered. He rushed and put on the kettle, and put out another cup and saucer, and an extra cake or two, and ran to the door. I'm sorry to keep you waiting, he was going to say when he saw that it was not Gandalf at all. It was a dwarf with a blue beard tucked into a golden belt, and very bright eyes under his dark green hood. As soon as the door was opened, he pushed inside just as if he had been expected. He hung his hooded cloak on the nearest peg, and Dwalin at your service, he said with a low bow. Bilbo Baggins at yours, said the hobbit, too surprised to ask any questions for the moment. When the silence that followed had become uncomfortable, he added, I'm just about to take tea. Pray come and have some with me. A little stiff, perhaps, but he meant it kindly. And what would you do if an uninvited dwarf came and hung his things up in your hall without a word of explanation? They had not been at table long. In fact, they had hardly reached the third cake when there came another even louder ring at the bell. "Excuse me," said the hobbit, and off went to the door. Oh, he said, "Excuse me," said the hobbit, and off went to the door. "So you have gotten here at last." That was what he was going to say to Gandalf this time, but it was not Gandalf. Instead, there was a very old-looking dwarf on the step with a white beard and a scarlet hood, and he too hopped inside as soon as the door was opened, just as if he had been invited. "I see they have begun to arrive already," he said, when he caught sight of Dwalin's green hood hanging up. He hung his red one next to it and Balin at your service, he said, with his hand on his breast. "Thank you," said Bilbo, and with a gasp. It was not the correct thing to say, but "they have begun to arrive" had flustered him badly. He liked visitors, but he liked to know them before they arrived, and he preferred to ask them himself. He had a horrible thought that the cakes might run short, and then as the host, he knew his duty and stuck to it, however painful he might have to go without. "Come along in and have some tea," he managed to say after taking a deep breath. "A little beer would suit me better, if it is all the same to you, my good sir," said Balin with his white beard. "But I don't mind some cake, seed cake, if you have any." "Lots," Bilbo found himself answering to his own surprise, and he found himself scuttling off, too, to the cellar to fill a pint beer mug, and then to a pantry to fetch two beautiful round seed cakes, which he had baked that afternoon for his after supper morsel. When he got back, Balin and Dwalin were talking to the table like old friends. at the table like old friends. As a matter of fact, they were brothers. Bilbo plumped down the beer and the cake in front of them. When loud came a ring at the bell again. Oh my god, this is so sad. They're taking this people pleaser guy too far. And then another ring. Gandalf for certain this time, he thought, as he puffed along the passage. But it was not. And it was two more dwarves, both with blue hoods, silver belts, and yellow beards. Each of them carried a bag of tools and a spade. In they hopped as soon as the door began to open. Bilbo was hardly surprised at all. "What can I do for you, my dwarfs?" he said. "Killy at your service," said the one, and "Filly," added the other, and they both swept off their blue hoods and bowed. "At your service and your families," replied Bilbo, remembering his manners this time. "Dwellin' and ballin' here already, I see," said Killy. "Let us join the throng." "Throng," thought my Mr. Baggins. "I don't like the sound of that. I really must sit down for a minute and collect my wits and have a drink." He had only just had a sip in the corner while the four dwarfs sat round the table and talked about mines and gold and troubles with the goblins and the and the depredations of dragons and lots of other things which he did not understand and did not want to, for they sounded much too adventurous, when ding dong a ling dang his bell rang again, and as if something naughty little hobbit boy was trying to pull the handle of off. "Someone at the door," he said, blinking. "Some four, I should say, by the sound," said Philly. "Besides, we saw them coming along behind us in the distance." The poor little hobbit sat down in the hall and put his head in his hands and wondered what had happened, and what was going to happen, and whether they would all stay to supper. Then the bell rang again, louder than ever, and he had to run to the door. It was not four after all, it was five. Oh my god, another dwarf had come along while he was wandering in the hall. He had hardly turned the knob before they were all inside, bowing and saying, "At your service," one after the other. Dory, Nori, Ori, Oin, and Gloin were their names, and very soon two purple hoods, a grey hood, a brown hood, and a white hood were hanging on the pegs, and off they marched with their broad hands stuck in their gold and silver belts to join the others. Already it had almost become a throng. Some called for ale, and some for porter, and one for coffee, and all of them for cake. So the hobbit was kept very busy for a while. A big jug of coffee had just been set in the hearth. The seed cakes were gone, and the dwarves were starting on a round of buttered scones when there came a loud knock. Not a ring, but a hard rat-tat on the hobbit's beautiful green door. Somebody was banging with a stick. Bilbo rushed along the passage, very angry, and altogether bewildered and bewildered. This was the most awkward Wednesday he had ever remembered. He pulled open the door with a jerk, and then all fell in, one on top of the other. More dwarfs! Four more! And there was Gandalf behind, leaning on his staff and laughing. He had made quite a dent on the beautiful door. He had also, by the way, knocked out the secret mark that he had put there in the morning before. "Carefully, carefully," he said. "It is not like you, Bilbo, to keep friends waiting on the mat, and then open the door like a popgun. Let me introduce Beefer, Boffer, Bomber, and especially Thorin. At your service," said Beefer, Boffer, and Bomber, standing in a row. Then they hung two yellow hoods, and a pale green one, and a sky blue one with a long silver tassel. This last belonged to Thorin, an enormously important dwarf, in fact, no other than the great Thorn Oakenshield himself, who was not at all pleased at falling flat on Bilbo's mat with Bifur, Boffer, and Bomber on top of him. For one thing, Bomber was immensely fat and heavy. Oh dear. Thorn indeed was very haughty and said nothing about service. Dang. But poor Mr. Baggins said he was sorry so many times that at last he grunted, "Pray don't mention it," and stopped frowning. "Now we are all here," said Gandalf, looking at the row of 13 hoods, the best detachable party hoods, and his own hat hanging on the pegs. Quite a merry gathering. I hope there is something left for the latecomers to eat and drink. What's that? Tea. No, thank you. A little red wine, I think, for me. And then for me, said Thorin. And raspberry jam and apple tart, said Biffer. And mince pies and cheese, said Buffer. And pork pie and salad, said Bummer. And more cake and ale and coffee, if you don't mind, called the other dwarfs through the door. Put on a few eggs, there's a good fellow, Gandalf called after him, as the hobbit stumped off to the pantries, and just bring out the cold chicken and pickles. Seems to know as much about the inside of my larders as I do myself. I thought Mr. Baggins, who was feeling positively flummoxed and was beginning to wonder whether a most wretched adventure had not come right into his house. By the time he had got all the bottles and dishes and knives and forks and glasses and plates and spoons and things piled up on big trays, he was getting very hot and red in the face and annoyed. Confusticate and bebother these dwarves, he said out loud. He said out loud. Oh no, they're gonna hear him. Why don't they come out and lend a hand? Lo and behold, there stood Balin and Dwalin at the door of the kitchen, and Philly and Killy behind them. And before he could say knife, they had whisked the trays and a couple of small tables into the parlor and set out everything afresh. Gandalf sat at the head of the party with the 13 dwarves all round, and Bilbo sat on a stool at the fireside, nibbling at a biscuit. His appetite was quite taken away, and they tried to look at as if they was all perfectly ordinary and not in the least an adventure. The dwarves ate and talked, and time got on. At last, they pushed their chairs back, and Bilbo made a move to collect the plates and glasses. I suppose you'll all stay to supper, he said in his politest, unpressing tones. Of course, said Thorin, and after we shan't get through the business till late, and we must have some music first, now to clear up. Thereupon, now to clear up. Thereupon the 12 dwarfs, not Thorin, was too important, and stayed talking to Gandalf, jumped to their feet, and made tall piles of all the things. Off they went, not waiting for trays, balancing columns of plates, each with their bottle of the top with one hand, while the hobbit ran after them, almost squeaking and fright. Please be careful, and please don't trouble. I can manage. But the dwarves only started to sing. Chip the glasses and crack the plates, blunt the knives and bend the forks. That's what Bilbo Baggins hates. Smash the bottles and burn the corks. Cut the cloth and tread on the fat. Pour the milk on the pantry floor. Leave the bones on the bedroom mat. Splash the wine on every door. Dump the crocks in a boiling bowl. This is the ultimate rage bait. Oh my god, these dwarves are so annoying. Pound them up with a thumping pole, and when you've finished, if any are whole, send them down the hall to roll. That's what Bilbo Baggins hates, so carefully with the plates. And of course, they did none of these dreadful things, and everything was cleaned and put away safe and quick as lightning, while the hobbit was turned round and round in the middle of the kitchen, trying to see what they were doing. Then they went back and found Thorin, who was with his feet on the fender smoking a pipe. He was blowing the most enormous smoke rings, and whenever he told one to go, it went up the chimney and behind the clock on the mantelpiece, or under the table, or round and round the ceiling, but wherever it went, it was not quick enough to escape Gandalf. Pop! He sent a smaller smoke ring from his short clay pipe straight through each one of Thorin's. Then Gandalf's smoke ring would go green and come back to hover over the wizard's head. He had a cloud of them about him. He had a cloud of them about him already, and in the dim light it made him look strange and sorcerous. Bilbo stood still and watched. He loved smoke rings. And then he blushed to think how proud he had been yesterday morning of the smoke ring he had sent up the wind over the hill. Now for some music, said Thorin. Bring out the instruments. Killy and Philly rushed for their bags and brought back little fiddles. Dory, Nori, and Ori brought out flutes from somewhere inside their coats. Bomber produced the drum from the hall. Biffer and Boffer went out too, and came back with clarinets, and they had left among the walking sticks. Dwalin and Balin said, "Excuse me, I left mine in the porch. Just bring mine in with you," and said Thorin. They came back with vials and as big as themselves, and with Thorin's harp wrapped in a green cloth. It was a beautiful golden harp. When Thorin struck it, the music began all at once, so sudden and sweet that Bilbo forgot everything else, and was swept away into dark lands under strange moons, for over the water and very far from his hobbit hole under the hill. The dark came into the room from the little window that opened in the side of the hill. The firelight flickered. It was April, and still they played on while the shadow of Gandalf's beard wagged against the wall. The dark filled all the room, and the fire died down, and the shadows were lost, and still they played on. And suddenly, first one and then another began to sing as they played, deep-throated singing of the dwarves in the deep places of their ancient homes. And this is like a fragment of their song, if it can be like their song without their music. Far over the misty mountains cold, to dungeons deep and caverns old, we must away ere break of day to seek the pale enchanted gold. The dwarves of you made mighty spells, while hammers fell like ringing bells. Jewel is so immersed in her story. I know, right? Isn't it so impressive? Like, I've never read fiction before, but I already read how many pages? Oh my god, that's crazy. So I started page 3. That was 10 pages. Wow, wow, wow. But yeah, I don't know where to stop at this point. Where's chapter 2? Oh wow. So 26. Should I read this? They're just singing here. As they sang, the hobbit felt the love of beautiful things made by hands, and by cunning, and by magic moving through him, a fierce and jealous love, the desire of the hearts of dwarves. Then something Turkish woke up inside him, and he wished to go and see the great mountains, and hear the pine trees and the waterfalls, and explore the caves and wear a sword instead of walking stick. He looked out of the window. Then stars were out in the dark sky above the trees. He thought of the jewels of the dwarfs shining in the dark caverns. Suddenly, in the wood beyond this water, a flame leapt up, probably somebody lighting a wood fire, and he thought of plundering dragons settling on his quiet hill and kindling it all to flames. He shuddered, and very quickly he was plain, Mr. Baggins of Bag Ends under hill again. I hear Luca. I'm back, y'all. Yo, Queen, welcome back. Did you eat that, Queen? Boring story. Bruh. It's not boring. You just have to, like, open your brain a little. Okay, I'm gonna end over here in this end of this page. So he got up trembling. He had less than half a mind to fetch the lamp, and more than half a mind to pretend to, and go and hide behind the beer battle barrels in the cellar, and not come out until all the dwarves had gone away. Suddenly he found that the music and the singing had stopped, and they were all looking at him with eyes shining in the dark. "Where are you going?" said Thorin, in a tone that seemed to show that he guessed both halves of the hobbit's mind. "What about a little light?" said Bilbo apologetically. "We like the dark," said all the dwarfs. "Dark for dark business. There are many hours before dawn." "Of course," said Bilbo, and sat down in a hurry. He missed the stool and sat in the fender, knocking over the poker and shovel with a crash. "Hush," said Gandalf. "Let Thorin speak." And this is how Thorin began. Alright, I'm gonna stop there. I know they've UCL winning players there, but Portugal team plans. I know what means. Hello, what was Yuki's fault? It was Yuki's fault that, he I don't even want to say it's so embarrassing. But I wanted to do some active recall with these 15 flashcards that we were learning. So, and Hayun is the one who gives life. Hey, Joy, check those books suggested by the tofu. They look nice. What books? Hmm. Argentina, but I believe France will take it. She said she has beards, bro. She's evil. Hello, Abdul Khalid. Beautiful lady from Lahore is back. Huh? Did you call Kai beautiful lady? That's kind of weird to say because she's a kid. Bro scribbled, let's go. Oh, Cal, welcome back. Yeah, it's been a long time since we played Scribble. Hey, Unconfident, welcome back. Come join the chat and chill with Joy her job. I don't see any book recommendations. Can you like restate that? No pie? Back. Also, Unconfident suggested a book too. Can you guys restate them? Like I don't even know. Sus. Kind of. Yeah, don't be sus. And Hay means the one who gives life. Al Qayyum means the one who sustains all life. Al Qadir means the capable. Al Awwal means the first. The Jalal wal Ikram is the Lord of majesty and generosity. Al Ra'uf means the kind one. Al Mu'akhir, Al Mu'akhir, the delayer. That's funny. I got that delayed. Okay, Al Wajid, the noble. No, the finder. Oh my god. Al Muqtadir means the dominant. Al Muqsit, the noble. No, no, that's Majid. That's Majid. Al Muqsit is the just. Al Muqaddim, the Muqaddim. I don't know. Majid is the noble, right? Remember that? Yeah. Al Bar means the most kind. He's very kind. No, that's Al Ra'uf. Al Bar means the source of goodness. Muntaqim, Al Wali, the patron. Muntaqim and Muqaddim. Do you guys know these ones? Dre, watch the Year's World Cup for us. That's boring. If y'all thought this book, The Hobbit, was boring, you're gonna die from boredom watching the World Cup. How many calories did you burn? I'm like a ghost. I come and go. I'm so cool, and I right? Yeah, you are cool. But you are also a mod, right? Actually, you're not a mod. Yeah, let me give you a mod. So if anybody, let me give you managing mod. Okay. So if anybody is weird to you, just hide them, including wait, including other mods. Wait, what did you say, Noob? Yuki awake? Yeah, finally awake. Oh, 1 calorie. It takes a long time to burn 1 calorie. I don't know what these two flashcards are, and I messed up El Wajid too. مقدم منتقي من الواجد. مقدم منتقم مقدم. The Avenger منتقم. مقدم is the promoter. Promoter Avenger. الواجد. Did Joy accidentally give me mod? No, it's on purpose. Use this dua noob. Allahumma inni a'udhuka min al-hammi wal-hazn. Yeah, don't get anxious. That's the dua for anxiety. My sister often suffers from depression. Don't let it get to you. Don't let it. Don't let the depression get to you. I want to be mod if I can. All right. Should I make anybody mod? Let's go. Well, I only give like Kai mod because she's already modded her other account, but she uses many accounts. So Anna be mod. Okay. Al-Wadi, what does that mean? So this is Al-Muntaqim means Avenger, Muqaddim means mm, no, I got this. I don't have to check. Let's see. The promoter, yeah, the promoter, the Avenger, Al-Wajid is the finder. Wow, Wajid, Wajid, Wajid. These three I'm gonna need to learn a lot. Take a little bit more time to learn. Wajid the finder, Muqaddim is the promoter. Muntaqim is thinking. Let me think. The Avenger. Wajid. I can't believe my memory's that bad, guys. Is there a name of Allah like the protector? Because I want to send to my sister. Yeah, there has to be. And Muhaymin, he's the guardian. I'm the Hulk of this Marangers. And Wajid, thinking. And Wajid. And Muhaymin is translated to the protector. Yeah, see? I know. And Wajid is the finder. And Muqaddim is this one or down the promoter? Is the This is the promoter and Muqaddim. This is Muntaqim is the Avenger. Yeah, the Avenger. Muntaqim, the Avenger. Wajid. I can't believe I keep forgetting it. This is insane. And Wajid is. I am paying attention, guys. Listen. Uh, it's not like I'm doing this on purpose. And Wajid is the finder. I keep cheating. Muqaddim is the promoter. Muntaqim is the Avenger. Al-Wajid is the Finder. Muqaddim is the Promoter. The Avenger. The Finder, the Promoter, the Avenger. Okay, got it. Wajid is the Finder. W for where? Okay, yes. Thank you. Alright, we're done with that. Is that good enough? Or do y'all want to do more flashcards? Read more Bilbo Baggins? Because honestly, the stream was very fun. It would have been longer if I didn't had to cut off the last first part, but I think I'll end here, inshallah. All right, thank you guys so much for sticking along, and I hope my sister will be like Joya someday, focusing on the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inshallah, may Allah guide your sister, and don't wish to be like me. Wish to be like your role model, which is a prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But you can't really expect somebody to be like him. Nobody could be like him, but you know I'm just I'm still alive, I still have the capacity to turn bad. So our role models should be the people who have already passed away because they don't have the capacity to be bad. but I appreciate it anyways. Thank you so much, and see you guys later. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ah, tofu? Oh, thought that was doggy. Okay, bye.